That's a very important question, and let me tell you why I am constantly insisting on the discipline necessary to succeed. The history of nonviolent movement has proven for the most part one thing for certain, that violent scenarios of change seldom lead to democratic outcomes. On the other hand, most successful civil disobedience movements have reached a democratic outcome. Point number one. Point number two. A critical element in transition of power is the direct participation of coercive forces as part of that transition, if we want to avoid bloodshed. Therefore, there has to be an option for such elements, case in point the Iranian regime today, to be able to see a survival for themselves beyond this regime. If they may be fearful that they are facing a vengeful society, chances of them peeling away for such regimes would be much less, and therefore the road to recovery and freedom much harder and certainly much bloodier. Therefore, it is important not only to believe that it is achievable under non-violent civil disobedience, but it is a critical point of achieving beyond this change an atmosphere of national reconciliation in which you have a general amnesty, and I would even add to that the banning of capital punishment for good, particularly in the case of political, if you will, sort of crimes or whatever you want to call it. This has to be part of our perspective towards the future. I'm looking at South Africa as a good example, and I think in that case I don't see why we couldn't achieve it, because this is not just theory, but in practice we have seen elements of coercive forces, such as some members of the Revolutionary Guards, beginning to show doubt and remorse. And let's not forget one thing. The same people who are today asked by this regime to fire bullets into the heads of our sons and daughters has gone to the war front, fought a war protecting our homeland and the life of the parents of the very same children that are asked to go and kill. I don't think that would be tenable. I know there will be a shift of position, and they will join the people at the very end. I have no doubt that the Iranian people will prevail. My entire effort in this is to try to bring that change at the least cost possible to our nation, both in terms of loss of life and in terms of its economic consequences. I cannot think of any other scenario but that of nonviolence, and I've yet to be proven wrong that the Iranian people cannot achieve it or that it is futile to think in that direction.
Now, we had an SMS message that came from Kofi in the UK who says, does Reza Pahlavi think his father was a dictator? And I wonder, how are you able to at least shed the baggage that is carried with your father's name for having a very tough regime?
But I think people who have an objective mind, including today's generation, realize very well that I have not genetically inherited the politics or the political circumstances in the era of my predecessor. I believe that I am my own man, and I have had a 30-year track record of my own. And I hope that people will judge me based on my actions and my thoughts rather than what happened at a time that I had nothing to do with. My vision is towards the future. I have described clearly what it is that I believe in terms of the option for our country, what I'm prepared to do in that response. I'm doing it primarily as a responsible and concerned Iranian citizen and a patriot. And I've always said, if it is up to my fellow compatriots to bestow upon me, if they so choose, or if they believe that I can play a higher role in Iran in the future, to decide that then. But I know my mission now. And my mission is focused on bringing a process of liberalization with the help of all Iranians that are committed to this common joint effort, so we can bring freedom to our country as soon as possible and give a chance for the people of Iran to decide in complete freedom what it is that they really want for themselves and their future. That's all I can say at this stage, and that's the only focus of on my mind ever since I started 30 years ago.
Okay, Oscar is in Virginia with a question. Oscar, what would you like to ask?
Oh, good afternoon. It's such a pleasure to talk to Your Highness. My question was, first of all, to answer Ali Reza from New York, is that at this junction, we really don't have anybody who's more qualified, actually with a clean record and without any type of an agenda, a personal agenda, I should say, except you, sir. And I'm sure a lot of Iranians would like to see that, you basically try to organize some sort of a group so we can confront this Islamic Republic in a more organized fashion. Do you, sir, have any type of a plan to organize any type of a, group or what have you? Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Well, one of the chief concerns among the opposition, both inside the country and outside, is the fact that since the regime appears to be bent on trying to minimize any possibility for the current, at least visible leadership of the movement to be effective inside, there may in fact be some kind of a vacuum at some point in terms of the visible leadership. That doesn't mean that the movement will be curtailed. However, there may be a need for some reassembly of such forces outside, and this is where I think the diaspora can get involved. And the activists from abroad can be of assistance to the movement inside and help create a contact between them and the outside world. I know you are.
I have to ask your forgiveness because we're short on time. I thank you for your understanding. I do hope we have a chance to speak again. Good luck and thank you.
I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for the opportunity.
And thank you for being with us too with your questions. Remember, you can follow the show on Facebook and see what we're up to there. You can give us your feedback on topics and post your questions and comments.